All right. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. It has been a while. Sarah here. We are back with new episodes. We are going to start doing them on Wednesdays, actually, once a week. It just felt like a little bit too much for me on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I wanted to take some time off for the holidays and kind of get back into the new year. And so that will be our new schedule moving forward. I'm excited. I have a lot to share with you. I have a lot to talk to you about. There are going to be some changes as we kind of go. I've got some interviews in mind and planned, but all of that to say, I am happy to be back. I'm happy to talk to you. I'm happy to share some things with you. And I think today, I just want to have a really, I think, important conversation with you about, it's about comparing yourselves to others, but more than that, it is about audacity. And what I mean by that is I was having a conversation with a client last week, and actually we've had a couple of different conversations about this in particular. And she was speaking to the fact that it's very easy to see other people online, in the world and in general, but also just like other coaches in the space that maybe are making more money or are maybe talking about how like easy business feels or how easy money making is to them, and how then easy it can be to kind of compare yourself, or not even compare yourself, but more than that, feel as though you're doing something wrong. Like, why is it easy for this person? Or why is this person making so much money so quickly and I'm still at this phase, right? And how frustrating all of that can feel. And obviously we had a bigger conversation around it, but one of the big takeaways and the thing that I wanted to again share with you here is that something that I didn't understand early on, and something that I forget to remember now, is that some people, right, were simply born with more audacity than others. And that doesn't necessarily make them right. And so this is a timely conversation in things like the Tinder Swindler or Inventing Anna coming out, right? I'm sure many of you have watched one or both of them. If not, I would definitely recommend them. But these are, true stories, right? To what extent, obviously that could be argued, but these are true stories of people who have gone essentially out of their way to scam other people, to lie to other people. And, in watching Inventing Anna, it wasn't a documentary exactly, but like, I almost not felt for her, but like you could feel like, I could imagine, I should say, that this person believed their own bullshit. Like it wasn't, I think as we grow up, we have this concept of good guys and bad guys, right? Like we don't want the bad guys to get us, right? Even in politics, it's always this thing where we just assume the other person is like the bad guy. And we almost forget that like every single person has their own intent and has their own reason for being the way that they are. And I'm not saying that that makes it right, but nobody views themselves as the villain. Nobody views themselves as like, I'm going to go out to really kind of like screw other people, whatever it is. I think a lot of people, especially when they're doing wrong things, they rationalize it to themselves, or they convince themselves why they're doing it for the greater good. Again, they believe their own lies, which is certainly what I felt when I was watching Inventing Anna, that like this person was just like, she had a completely skewed version of reality right in her head from the reality that we're all used to understanding, and believed her own shit, believed her own nonsense. And so I want to be very clear here, because I think it's a very, very, very negative thing to assume because somebody has what you want, or somebody is making more money than you, or if somebody says that things are easy. I think it's a very, very, very toxic thing to automatically believe that they're full of shit, right? Because I know a lot of people that are making a lot of money with a lot of ease. I've made a lot of money and some of it has felt very easy, right? I've been up and down in business, and I know that there have been moments that have been just as wonderful as I share with you, right? Like I really pride myself on always being transparent and honest with you. And so while there have been tough times, there have also been flawless periods of business, right? And I'm always going to tell you the truth of that. And so my point is that if I've had those flawless, if you will, moments, I know that it's possible. I know that it's possible on a bigger scale. And so again, I don't want anyone to go into, victim mentality mode when you see somebody who's making more money than you, or you see somebody who like is making things feel as though they are so much easier than you have it right now. I don't want you to automatically assume that they're full of shit, that they're lying, that they're scamming people, because that's not the case. But it's so helpful to remember that sometimes it is the case, Or sometimes their version of reality is a bit skewed. Sometimes they have this audacity to be delusional, to like see the world through their own eyes, and it's not necessarily the actual truth. And I bring this up because I feel as though I am fortunate in the sense that I tend to attract really kind women. I tend to attract women that work with me, that listen to me, that really care about what they do, who really like make it their mission to give their all to their clients, to their business, to operate with integrity, which I'm so proud to attract the kind of people that I do. But because I attract the people that I do, and because I'm that way in many ways, I notice that it becomes easier for those particular women to forget that because they care, because they want to do the best job possible, sometimes that almost creates a barrier to letting things be easy, right? Or it creates a barrier from making massive amounts of money with ease because they're not willing to maybe sell the promises that other people are. Or the example is this client that I was talking to a couple weeks ago. She was saying to me, like, when does business get to be easy? Like, I'm just ready for that moment of like launching and selling and making money and for it to just feel so much less hard, like this person or like that person. And she referenced a couple people. And I was like, one of the things that I really think it's important for you to embrace here is that you care. You care deeply. And so for that reason, it's probably never going to feel that easy for you because you could throw out a program, you could sell that offer, and you could let it be what it is and sell it for the rest of your life and make money with ease. And you could do that. But that's not who you are. You are intent on making it better every single time. You are intent on making sure that your clients get the best experience possible. You give a shit when your people are struggling. And again, I want to be so clear the way that I say this. I'm not implying that just because somebody is making more money, they don't care, because that's not the truth. Well, I've seen a lot of people who just don't care. I've seen a lot of people that are very checked out of their businesses and do the things and have their team do a lot of things, and they don't have a finger on the pulse of their business at all. They're okay being, again, checked out the way that many of us are not. And so I'm going to say it again. I just want to say this so clearly because I don't want anyone to interpret that as like this victim-y thing of like, those people are wrong, or, I just care too much, so I can never make as much money as they do, because that's not the truth. And that's not what I'm saying, but it's worth embracing the fact that we're all different and we all operate differently. And like, if we were to use an example of like, let's say you threw a retreat, let's say two of us threw a retreat, right? And in one of the retreats, somebody had a bad experience and came to me. I would like be beside myself. Like, I would be distraught about the fact that somebody really did not have a good time and was complaining about it and they were frustrated, whatever it is. Like, I would have knots in my stomach and I would want to fix it. Some people, if we were to the second retreat, somebody complains about not having a good experience, that second person, that second coach might not give a fuck. And so it's so important to embrace that if you're somebody who gives a fuck, right, you are simply different than the people who don't. And that puts you into a different camp. And that's something to own and embrace versus ever looking at somebody else and making yourself wrong because you're not as audacious as them. I always use this example. If you're a Housewives fan, you'll get this. But Luann de Lesseps, Real Housewives of New York City, she thinks she is God's gift to the world. You could say anything to her, and from the outside, from my living room, it feels as though any insult or anything telling her that she's not perfect in any way, it rolls right off of her. Like, she doesn't even entertain it. Like, she will just flat out, like, not even accept that something could be wrong, right? Like, with whatever, her singing, all these things. I mean, I don't want to get into all the stories over the years, but like, it just rolls right off of her. And on one hand, that is so infuriating to me, right? Like how delusional she is, like watching it from the outside. I'm like I want to shake her. Like, how do you not see this? But there's this other part of me that is so fucking jealous of being that way, because I can't even imagine how freeing it must feel to not even entertain other people's opinions or other people's complaints or issues, right? And just to like kind of see the world the way that I want to see it and not even question for a moment how somebody else might be interpreting my reality. But I'm using that as an example to remind you that, again, we're all different. And the way that we see the world and the way that we operate in the world is different. And so this all comes back to you not allowing yourself to, just because somebody is shouting from the rooftops how amazing they are or how much money they make, I want you to just make sure that you're just like questioning your perception of it in the sense of like, is this fully true? Is this the kind of person that I want to be? Is there something that I might be missing here? And again, altering everything or adjusting everything to make sure that it's going through your filter and you're still operating the way that you want to operate. Again, I'll use an example. I saw somebody and again, this is part of the conversation that I was having with this particular client who I just adore. And I was just saying transparently to her, I was like, I saw somebody online not long ago. She's new in the space. Like I haven't seen her, very long. And she was kind of just talking about how like she was at the top of the industry. And it totally triggered me because here's the thing. I've been doing this a long time. I've been consistent and stable for years. I know that I'm at the top of the industry, whereas it's like, it feels very unnatural for me to come out and say that or to lead with that, right? I don't have the audacity necessarily to say those things. And so I can take a moment and when I'm triggered by it, to just look at the fact of like, okay, let me look at this from a neutral place. Would it like help me? Would it serve me to maybe step up the way that I see myself and the way that I declare how good I am at what I do, so on and so forth? Sure. While at the same time, I like who I am. I like feeling like I'm always honest with you about like things not being perfect or being overly taking myself like too seriously, right? And so again, I'm not saying one's right or one's wrong or that there's not work to be done on my end or anybody's end. No, of course not. Like I'm always striving to be better and more confident and so on and so forth. And again, more in ownership of what I've done and what I've created, because again, I want to grow myself in that way. And also because I know that it serves me from a business and financial perspective. But I hope you're hearing me when I'm saying that, like, I can also look at it and just understand that some people are ballsier than I am, and that's okay, right? Like, it's okay for me to accept myself for who I am, and I don't even have to make that person wrong. That person, again, might be a little bit more audacious than me, and that's okay. And perhaps somewhere where they're struggling, I'm benefiting, right? Again, we're all different, and all of our traits have pros and cons to them. And so again, all of this to say is I just want you to give yourself the opportunity essentially to look at things a little bit more neutrally. And remember here that when you're comparing yourself to somebody who seems like they may have it better than you in some way, I want you to make sure that you're taking your ego as much as possible out of it and zooming out and being able to assess it for what it is and reflecting on the fact that, again, we're all different people and we all share and view the world differently and operate differently, right? And like, again, our perception of reality is we're all different in that way. And that can be a really helpful thing to remember here when we are making ourselves wrong for the way that we are. And again, instead, it's just we're just really different, and that's really, really, really okay. And like I said, I want you to embrace that. As a side note, the 500K sales system is up. Out, doors are open. I'm relaunching that program for the first time in a long time, and I think I'll share more with you about why I'm doing that in the next episode. But I wanted to let you know today, and I wanted to audaciously let you know that I truly, with every bone in my body, believe that it is the best marketing program, the best launching program that exists. And I have not done a good job in the past. And this is, I'm just transparently telling you this here, that like I've had such a block around, and it definitely comes from like childhood, of like not wanting to brag or not wanting to take credit for other people's success. But the women that have gone through this program and who have made 6 figures in a couple months, who have transformed their business massively, those women exist. And I'm so proud of that. And I'm so proud of what this program makes possible. And so if you are looking for a solid program that will help you simplify your marketing, make a lot of money, and make a lot of money every day, I really, really, really don't believe that there is a better program to do that, to help you do that, than the 500K sales system. And I don't think that there's a better coach that exists to help support you and guide you in that. As a live group program, you have access to me. We have group calls on top of the incredible materials that guide you through how to make money every day. My process has always, or for years now, I should say, has been grow your audience every day, nurture your audience every day, sell to your audience every day. I know many of you have heard that many times. And the 500K sales system is this comprehensive breakdown of how to do that, and how to do that not just from a strategic and practical perspective, but what you need to understand about every little mindset piece that comes along with it. There's a lot of information in there. I am not sorry for that, because I want to, as much as possible, leave like no stone unturned, so that you feel just, again, so solid about what your systems need to be on a daily basis to get paid all the time, to attract customers all the time, so that you can build a business that is, sure, in a position that it can make a lot more money, let's say in 30 days from now, because that's possible for you, but in a way that sets you up for sustainability, and not this quick fix and a quick win that doesn't sustain itself, right? There are processes and systems that set you up for long-term success. And I have made so much money, millions of dollars over the past couple of years by implementing this system. And I really believe whether you are making $1,000 a month or $50,000 a month, this system could transform things for you powerfully and simply. And like I said, there is not a better program that exists, in my opinion, to help you do that. And so all details, of course, are on my website, sarah-dan.com. I would love to have you. If you have any questions, of course, let me know. Read the sales page and then let me know. I always say that. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. I hope you lean into your audacity a little bit this week, or remembering that some people just have a fuck ton more than you, and that's okay. And I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye.